Okay, peace and blessings, brothers and sisters, and all praise to the Most High. I wanted to take a moment out to share a segment within one of the second Exodus videos that we did concerning the passing of the cup. Now, I wanted to do this because a lot of people are not considering some of the things that's happening with as far as the other nations round about us and how they would be receiving the same curses that Israel would be receiving. So, in the passing of the cup, it actually outlines the scriptures that speaks on the same curses that came on Israel coming on the heathen, or the Most High actually mentioning these things as a cup of fury, or the dregs of the cup of his of trembling. I wanted to share this and give that understanding for those who may not have heard it. And also, if you want to watch the video or the presentation in its entirety, I'm going to leave the link in the subscription box. But yeah, just to mention something else that's concerning about that is we have to keep in mind that the Most High also said that he would pour double unto those nations that of the same things that we had to drink of, or that same cup they would receive double. So yeah, so I wanted to share this segment. Again, it's just a segment of the video of the second Exodus plagues. And again, I'm going to leave the link in the subscription box. And I hope you guys are able to receive edification from it and gain a little bit more understanding on what it means for the cup to be passing. Also, yeah, one more other thing. I want you also to consider this as you watch this. When the curses fell on Israel, it wasn't an instantaneous thing. It was a gradual thing that happened where we would lose our land, lose the blessings of the Most High, and lose our identity. These are things that gradually begin to happen to Israel. So when we look at these nations and they're starting to receive the curses or also plagues, we have to keep in mind that this is not something that's just going to happen out of nowhere. These are things that we're going to see gradually start to build on these nations till it ultimately destroys them. But without further ado, the second Exodus, passing of the cup.
The passing of the cup. First, I have to talk about who has the cup, because actually the reason why you have the cup, Yasharal, or reason why you had it, was the simple fact that your ancestors failed to keep the law, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. The Most High told you in Deuteronomy what he would do to you if you didn't keep the commandments. Each time you guys fell away from him, he will fall away and turn his back on you, rightfully so, because you got the creator of the universe that has given you everything. He gave you everything that you needed. You didn't really need a king, but he gave you that too. You went into judgment because of your forefathers. All of these brothers that are teaching who Israel is, that was actually a trigger. Because now guess what's happening? You have Israelites now keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, and they also have faith in Mashiach. So what does that do? That allows the passing of the cup and the transition to happen. So now that the transition is happening, what is that? He is taking away the plagues and the curses off of Israel, because we are keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, and he's giving it to not one nation, but he's giving it to all nations that offended us, that were against us, that injured us.
Yes, we are the true children of God. I know that, because only the true children of God would be hated that much. I know that the scriptures have said it so many times. I get that. And this is why the judgment is starting to hit now. And it's going to increase. Think about that.
The book of Isaiah 51:21. Therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. Verse 22. Thus saith thy master, the Most High, and thy Elohim that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again. Verse 23. But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, Bow down, that we may go over. And thou hast laid thy body as the ground, and as the street to them that went over.
So here you have the Most High looking down and understanding his children are being afflicted. In Isaiah 51 and 21, he says, Hear now this, thou afflicted. He says to his children, to the children of Israel, Behold, I have taken out of thy hands the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt drink it no more again. But what does the Most High say after that? He says, I will put it in the hands of them that afflict thee, which say to thy soul, Bow down, that we may go over thee, and thou hast laid thy body as the ground. So the Most High is beginning to take up defense against these heathen for the sake of his people.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 25, verse 15. For thus saith the Most High Elohim of Israel unto me, Take the wine cup of this fury at my hand, and cause all nations to whom I send thee to drink it, and they shall drink and be moved and be mad because of the sword that I will send among them.
So in Jeremiah 25 and 15 through 16, the Most High says, Take the wine cup of this fury at my hand, and cause all nations to whom I send thee to drink it. Okay, so the Most High is transferring the curses that were put on Israel, or that cup that Israel had to drink from. He's transferring it over into the heathen's hands, and he's causing every nation to whom he sent Israel, where they were scattered, to drink of that same cup that Israel had to drink of.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 16. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey.
Okay, so Jeremiah 30 and 16 gives that example of the cup being transferred. It says, Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thy adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So didn't these heathen devour Israel? Didn't these heathen become adversaries towards Israel? Didn't they take us into captivity? Didn't they spoil us? Didn't they have us as a prey, killing our people? So the same things that they did, the Most High is going to return the recompense upon their own head.
You're reaping what you've sown. Your children are reaping what our forefathers sowed into their lives, which was destruction, murder, strife, slavery. And you think for a moment that a just God is going to stand by and not allow justice to come forth?
Over and over, it's become the iconic footage. Students running from a school with their hands up. Columbine, Sandy Hook, and now Parkland. School shootings so familiar they go by just one name. Images that look so similar, and yet each time, new families are ripped apart. According to Everytown for Gun Safety, this is the 18th time a gun was fired on school grounds this year.
The incident in Oregon marks the 74th shooting on a school campus since the December 2012 mass shooting in Newtown, Connecticut, and the 37th school shooting so far in 2014.
U.S. middle-aged white Americans with relatively low education are experiencing rising mortality from alcoholism, drug addiction, and suicide. Now that's all at the same time that every other racial and ethnic group somehow has decreased, but this has increased. So something has gone terribly wrong.
So breaking news to my white family out there. The real enemy is you. The real enemy is you. And you want to stop the blood that's going to be shed all over your land and in your homes and in your schools and in your towns and in your villages? Then you better start paying attention to yourself. It's your people. It's you. You're the enemy. Look at your track record. Look at your history. And you think that's not going to come back on you?
Okay, earlier I made a statement that plagues and curses are one and the same. So in order to prove this, what I'm going to do is give a comparison between two books. One book is the Book of Baruch, which is in the Apocrypha, and another book is the Book of Daniel, which is in the regular KJV. Now, these chapters that I'm reading from will be basically saying the same thing. The only difference is where one uses the word curses, the other one will use plagues to describe what the Most High did to Israel.
The Book of Baruch, chapter 2, verse 1. Therefore the Most High hath made good his word, which he pronounced against us, and against our judges that judged Israel, and against our kings, and against our princes, and against the men of Israel and Judah. Verse 2. To bring upon us great plagues, such as never happened under the whole heaven, as it came to pass in Jerusalem, according to the things that were written in the law of Moses, that a man should eat the flesh of his own son, and the flesh of his own daughter. Moreover, he hath delivered them to be in subjection to all the kingdoms that are round about us, to be as a reproach and a desolation among all the people round about where the Most High hath scattered them.
Okay now, so the Book of Baruch chapter 2 verse 1 says, Therefore the Lord hath made good his word, which he pronounced against us and against our judges that judged Israel. Then when we go to verse 2, it says, To bring upon us great plagues, such as never happened under the whole heaven, as it came to pass in Jerusalem. So we're going to read the same thing in Daniel, but before we do so, I'm going to show something else. Verse 3 says that a man should eat the flesh of his own son. Wasn't that a curse? Verse 4 says, Moreover, he hath delivered them to be in subjection to all kingdoms that are round about us, to be as a reproach and desolation among all people. Wasn't that a curse that was put on Israel, to be scattered and to be a desolation?
The Book of Daniel, chapter 9, verse 11. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses, the servant of the Most High, because we have sinned against him. And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem.
Okay, so now I'm going to paraphrase what Daniel 9 and 11 says. It says, All Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore the curse is poured upon us. Okay, furthermore, it says in Daniel 9 and 12, And he hath confirmed his words which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem. So what you see here is in the book of Daniel, they utilize the word curses, where in the book of Baruch they utilize the word plagues. And that's the comparison between the two. One uses curses and the other uses plagues to describe what the Most High did to us.